So you've seen some kind of weird fact checkers and all sorts of things that happened with with the AOC. You saw the AOC, Smollett, Juicy Smollett, famous French actor, by the way. But Jussie Smollett, the AOC Smollett thing that was trending. And because it came out that she was not in the Capitol building. Now, there's a couple of different angles you can take from this. If you say that she was like, it's like a language thing where like, did she directly say it? And which is what the fact checkers are going to do. But at minimum, there is one thing that she did lie about. But at minimum, you'd have to concede that she was disingenuous about the whole entire ordeal. Now, it's one thing to say that you felt some kind of way. Like you felt that, like you felt like scared, or you felt threatened. But that wasn't what was said. She said she was about to be murdered. And she also said she experienced a near-death. She had a near-death experience. No such thing happened to AOC. So that borderline, you can say it's disingenuous either way, dishonest, or you can say it's a flat-out lie. But those particular, I don't even care to even talk about the other shit. I'm talking specifically about those particular talking points that she was dishonest about. She was never in danger like that. And the people that were near, she was in a different side of the complex. For those of you that don't know what's going on, is what happened. There's a Capitol building. It has an entire complex of all these different buildings and stuff. And like, I've been there. By the way, I covered the inauguration, not this recent one, the Trump inauguration, for being libertarian. I was there as a reporter. If you have not been there, it is massive. And yes, and you can see that you could be still in the complex on a completely different side of the complex. And that's what it was that she was. She was just on a completely different side of the complex, and she was evacuated. That did happen. And she did talk about how the Capitol building, or police officers were there, and they were obviously evacuating. And then you heard, was it Mace? I can't remember her last name. That a representative that was like, bro, my office is two offices down from you. There was never any insurrectionists that were near us. So at minimum, you'd have to say that she dramatized the event. So yes, she was dishonest. She was disingenuous about it. And it goes to that whole dramatization thing, which unfortunately is like it is with my generation of people, where they got to make things seem like what they aren't because they want an experience that they didn't have. Like they want to say they survived the apocalypse. They survived the siege, the coup. A bunch of fucking unarmed people go walk single file line in between velvet rope and grandmas with little tiny American flags. It's a coup, it's a siege. And I survived it. I escaped with my life. Bro, you were on the other side where all of this shit was going down. Now, the one thing that she did for sure lie about was when she was trying to cover her tracks. That was a lie. And she's talking about, well, here the right wingers are being dishonest about my experience and blah, blah, blah. And by the way, it was Mace. It's Nancy Mace was the representative's name that was talking about. And so they never stormed her hallway, which was what she was alluding to, right? AOC. But none of that happened. None of that had anything to do with her. She was not there, okay? That's just what it was. Now, the thing for sure, though, she was telling a fib about was the bomb thing. She said that the bombs were planted around her building as well. No, they weren't. And for some of you may be like, what are you talking about? Well, to me, it screams Fed boy, number one. Like, I think that was a all right, man, I don't want to be docked for this. But to me, it screams Fed boy because what they're saying is that there were pipe bombs that were set on the RNC side and the DNC side. Again, that's not where her office was at. So the bombs were not set where she was at specifically. So that's what she specifically lied about. She also said they were Trump supporters that planted those. And this is why I think it's Fed Boy anyway, because they haven't found out they still haven't there was no arrest made. They didn't find the person that supposedly did that. That didn't happen. So they didn't even fight to confirm who it was while she says Trump support. So the whole sentence is basically a lie, where she says Trump supporters planted bombs near our building. No, they didn't. Again, the bombs you're referring, that you're referring to, these supposed pipe bombs that were planted, weren't even around your office. They weren't. They weren't around your office. But nonetheless, there's no proof that they were Trump supporters. They haven't even found, which is weird that they haven't found the one person that would have been doing the damage. They couldn't find who that was, so they can't even say who did it. So there's been no confirmation of who did it. So she lied about that. That she lied about, okay? That for sure she lied about. That for sure she lied about. The other stuff is more disingenuous, borderline lying when you piece together up her story and her experience. See, it's politically opportunistic for her to say that she had an experience, because what it does is legitimizes everything that she's going to say, particularly about the guys on the opposite side of the aisle. When she gets to clap back at Ted Cruz telling her she was about to be murdered when she was nowhere near the action, right? Like that all sounds great. And it looks good for clapbacks on Instagram and Twitter. But she's in another dimension. And she was stretching, reaching, if you will, like Mr. Fantastic. No, I do you one better, since y'all like goofy ass characters, like Kamala Khan. Kamala Khan level stretching. We'll go that route. But yeah, man, she's disingenuous. I mean, you have to at least concede that. But that's how you got to handle these types of people, man. You got to take what they say with a grain of salt. Take what they say with a grain of salt, because they will just make shit up. Just because you voted for them doesn't mean that they won't make shit up. They will absolutely make shit up. You saw her make shit up. So, to recap, AOC, her office, where she was at, was nowhere near where the action took place. Did she lie about it? No. Was she disingenuous about it? Yeah. She was telling a fib. She was leading you to believe that that was the experience. And now this is why she's going the route of talking about the traumatic experience and what she felt, her story, as opposed to what actually happened. What was not true was that she had a near-death experience and that she was about to be murdered. Did not happen. There's no evidence of it. In fact, the evidence points to the contrary. Do with that information whatever you may.